Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I wanted to talk to you guys about capital ships. I've not got capital ships yet. I have not really got the best skills. I can fly capital ships, but I've never really flown capital ships before. To be honest, I've never owned a capital ship on Tranquility before. This is the test server, Singularity, and I wanted to talk with you guys a bit about the capital ships and my thoughts about them and what I possibly am planning on doing in the future. Still not 100% sure because this is a big undertaking as far as I understand. A lot of ISK has to be put out there, but I think it might be an ideal time for me in my EVE career because I've saved up so much ISK and I've not really had much to spend it on, or at least as much as I did before, because pretty much my entire EVE career I've been playing in HiSec. I like HiSec, to be honest. I think it's still my favourite place to play in EVE Online. However, I do want to expand upon to capital ships because I mean, the best ships, sort of like, not the best ships, it's hard to say what is the best ship, you know. So every ship is best at some activity, etc., and is worse at another activity. But you could say it's the most expensive or best, like, most beefiest ships are the Marauders for high sec. But then you can't really get much more beefier than that unless you go to low sec or null sec, because then you need capital ships. So that's sort of my idea. I want to go to capital ships, and if I decide on a capital ship, this is now based on what I think is the coolest, not what probably is the most fun to play, because I've never actually used capital ships before. I can imagine when I play the capital ships it might change, but based on what I think is the coolest, I like the idea of the dreadnoughts because they remind me a bit of the Marauders, like XL Marauders, or the Marauders are like mini dreadnoughts where you have like really, really powerful guns and just obliterate stuff with a really high DPS and have a decent amount of tank as well. And I also like they're not super expensive like a super carrier. So if you lose one, it's not as big of a loss if, say, you have a super carrier or Titan. So I think definitely I want to get into a dreadnought as my first capital ship. I want to start easy, you know, start there. And then two ships I've been considering that I think they're the most cool, the Phoenix and the Revelation. I was thinking of using the Phoenix. And keep in mind, when I say using capital ships, I mean mainly for PvE activities. That's the main thing I like to do. Occasionally we could perhaps do some PvP, but I'm mainly thinking of good PvE activities to do, and the ones I have in mind are these crab beacons, you know, these drone ones, the ones that are made for capital ships. They can be very profitable, and they are also made specifically for capital ships. You can't run them in normal ships, I believe, or maybe you can, but it must be very difficult. Either way, they're made for capital ships, and that's what I want to do. So I think the Phoenix is a really cool ship, and it's hard to see the ships actually when you're in the station here on the test server because they're not really made to dock up into these stations, so you can barely see, but they're fitting our screen. The Phoenix is one of them. It's the Kaldari one. Uses really big torpedoes or some similar form of missiles. Shield-based ship. You know, I was thinking that this could be an idea. You know, when you put buffer on this ship, really big buffer, get 3 million EHP, absolutely crazy. And then 5.5 million, overheat this 6 million, really big amount of buffer you can get on this. I think that's really cool to just fly around a 6 million EHP buffer. And then another ship I also want to use is the Revelation. I think actually it might be the Revelation, which will be my first dreadnought. I was considering to have the Phoenix be my first dreadnought, but then I'm probably going to be leaning more towards the Revelation because I think that the Revelation seems a bit cooler, and also I was surprised how the like you could say the siege animation of the Phoenix, I think it looks really weird, and I'll show you what I mean here. If we go and undock for a bit, we can see that we can go in this massive ship, and the reason that I'm able to do this is because I'm on the test server. Everything's free here. You can do it yourself if you want to just test this stuff out, see how it feels. This is a really big hulking ship, and I think it looks really cool how you've got like a sizable ship. Like if you just zoom out, you can see that it looks pretty big in relation to the station. I can try destroying these Ultra-Thesion Lancers actually. I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's do that. I wonder if we'll get some backup from drifters. We can see. This is the, you could say, siege module or like a bastion module for Marauders. I think it looks a bit strange with all this orange stuff around it. We'll see here if we can apply. I don't think we'll be able to apply these, but look how big those missiles are. Those massive missiles. I wonder if we'll be able to apply. Yeah, that's no application whatsoever because we're using the Garista's XL torpedoes against a cruiser. XL torpedoes are like bigger than standard torpedoes, and even standard torpedoes are going to have a hard time applying to these cruisers, let alone an XL torpedo without any kind of application module. So that was not a good idea to try that out here, but I mean, at least we can see here they've got different types of weapons, it seems, for the capital ships. Now, apologies if this is going to be sounding really new, but you have to understand that for me, I've never been using capital ships at all throughout my whole EVE career. I've done some occasional tests, just like always, but I've never really done anything major here. So I just think it's really cool how I'm able to explore new kind of weapon systems and new types of ships. It just feels so cool. 6k, oh wow, that's a lot of DPS. 6k DPS. Isn't that a lot more than a Revelation? Yeah, why is this able to do so much damage but the... Oh, it's because I'm using a dual Giga beam laser, isn't it? If we use, say, for example, a bit of a smaller weapon, such as the Giga beam laser, we can get modulated. Like, the dual ones, I believe, are the more, like, application-friendly modules. The same thing with the Phoenix, you can use rapid torpedo launchers as well instead of XL torpedoes. See if there's a difference here in the DPS. Go in 3.7, okay. I wonder why this is the case, how we're doing so much less DPS. Maybe it could be my skills are also not so good. Could be a reason as well. Can check what my skills are. XL torpedo. Oh, my skills are really bare bones. Dreadnought. We've got the same dreadnought skills as well. Strange. Well, I guess you do a ton of damage with the Phoenix in general. Well, look how hulking the ship is. I dislike how these lights here are really orange. But the siege module is also like a bastion module, but a really more extensive one. Because these last 5 minutes, unlike the bastion modules, I think 30 seconds or 60 seconds, a lot more commitment is required to use a bastion or siege module, and without this we do so little DPS, negligible DPS. Like, look at that, 459 DPS. Nothing really. Siege module, boom, do so much damage suddenly. Imagine if you were to use then the Tech 2 torpedo launchers, because you know, XL torpedo launcher, you can use a Tech 2 variant and that'll be even more damage. This thing really, it's hard. Go with charge here. Ooh, 8k DPS. How is it possible that the Phoenix is able to do so much damage, but not the Revelation? Could it be that they've got wrong damage modules here? Modulated compact dual Giga beam laser. Very strange in my opinion. Is there maybe a pulse laser variant? Turrets and launchers, energy turrets, pulse, extra large. Oh, there's a pulse lasers as well. That must be the reason, because pulse lasers are like the short range variants that do more damage. So if we go with maybe quad, I think quad is the best tracking. Dual is a intermediate, I think. If we go here, quad, mega, dual, giga. Let's go for dual giga beam pulse laser. Then we put some conflag on this. Oh, look at that. 7k DPS. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's some good stuff right here. Okay, so say if we replace the weapons here, we can go for some quad mega pulse lasers. Then we can perhaps get some better tracking. A lot less DPS, 2k DPS only, but the tracking is 1.7, a lot more. So that's pretty good, but 2k damage is actually not a lot. That's a Marauder level no, lower than Marauders, in fact. We have to remember though, we have got pretty bad skills, but that is very low. Well, I guess you can't have everything. You're basically like a tanky Marauder here. You're not really going to be doing much with the 2k DPS. If you could, may as well you'd have a Marauder there. See how much armor repair I have. Look at that. With a Concord large armor repair, 2k a second. I'm really, all these numbers seem to have got added to zeros on them. I think it's really cool. If we were to go with something like dual Giga pulse laser, in order to put the tracking speed, what kind of tracking do we get? 0.08. Negligible tracking. But a ton of DPS. Let's see if we can dock up here. We can try going with Revelation that has really good tracking. I want to see if we can take out those cruisers, how that's going to be. Then again, maybe it would be quite kind of cool to use a capital-based weapon and blast them. But I think the tracking is just going to be too bad. See here, 0.04, that's so little tracking. These are the beam lasers on the other hand. Let's see if we can find quad mega. And then we hear quad mega pulse lasers here. And then we go with siege module. You also got Tech 2 siege modules. I'm not sure if there is significant benefits of the Tech 2 versus the Tech 1 one. These like all new aspects. I don't think we don't got any Tech 2 bastion modules. You can see we've got better weapon disrupting resistance. Siege missile damage bonus. Oof. We get more DPS by using Tech 2 siege module. Imagine if the Phoenix had one of these. Oh, that would be crazy. But you need a lot of skills to be able to use this new tactical weapons configuration to level 5. I've not got that trained up right now. But eventually, in due time, Okay, we'll call this PVE Rev. I know what this means because I've seen so many people complain about these on the Evil Line subreddit, where this is like basically high angle weapons. It means that they've got good tracking. There's a fit here. And there we go, because we're going with quad ones here that have good tracking. So then we can go with the blood multi-frequency. Do we have that? Or we've already got the Sanshas. We can go with that. Don't know why we can't repair this. Maybe you can't repair capital ships in the citadels, but we can use our armor repair here. Oh, we did not manage to have these Autothesian Lancers stay here. Let's see if we go and destroy some of these guys here, if that is possible. Let's see, here and here. We can maybe bastion up and then just blap this guy if that's possible. I'm just curious if we're going to be able to hit a nemesis that is going pretty slowly, but I doubt we will be able to because he seems to be starting to move now. Yeah, he's off. Okay. Well, doesn't seem like we've got much going on here. We've got that mobile depot over there. But, oh, I didn't know that the dreadnoughts have such a short lock range. I thought they had better lock range than that. 120 kilometers is not too far. Or it doesn't feel too far. Maybe it is. It's a bit longer than battleships, I guess, but it doesn't feel like a really... I would thought they would be able to hit further, because the thing is, with some of these pulse lasers, you can hit out really far. Look at the Radio XL here. Oh, no, not that much, but when you use beams, you can at least hit up to 300 kilometers, and these are the pulse lasers that have got a short range. We can check on the D-scan if we can see where they are. See, now we've got Multi-Frequency XL here. It doesn't have good range. It's actually not so good stats here, but it probably has a lot to do with the fact that we've got very bad skills. We can go to this derelict ruins here. Warp within 100. Maybe not within 100, maybe within 20. Because basically here we're using quad mega pulse lasers, and I believe quads is the mega pulse lasers are the same thing you find on battleships. You see mega pulse laser. It's basically like 4 of these. I'm imagining what's going on. Let's see what kind of improvements do we get by getting good skills. We get 5% damage per level. And then we've also not trained the capital energy turrets as well, particularly high. We've got different skills. EOM. Purity of the Throne. Hard for me to say which one I like the most, but I probably think Cold Iron or EOM is pretty cool. I think the Cold Iron looks really like dark and evil looking. I like the look of that. Look at the details you can see on this ship. So many windows. A lot of people on our ship here. Derelict ruins. We're so slow in a dreadnought. Look how slow we're going. But we do not have any prop mods, so I mean, it's not really so surprising. It doesn't seem like anything is going on in this derelict ruins. Just teleported to there. I'm thinking maybe we can find some sleepers here that we can fight. Doesn't seem like we've got any anomalies here. There we go, got some awakened defenders here. And some wormholes. Violent wormhole. Ooh. A little bit too far away here. I've got Strontium Clathrates here. Why am I not able to... Why can't I use this? I've got Strontium Clathrates in my cargo. Strange. Maybe I don't have enough Strunt. Can we use Ultraviolet? What range do we have here? Ultraviolet, only 67, 41 kilometers, not a lot. We can do some damage without the Battle Siege module, but hardly anything. Yeah, this is not going to end too well. We can move ourselves back to Giga, maybe. Okay, so that was just messing around with the dreadnoughts for a bit, and I wanted to discuss with you guys about the potential ships I want to use for the future. Definitely considering the Revelation. I think it's the more cooler looking dreadnought. We will see how it goes when I actually test them out, if they perform nicer, because I do know that I have tried the Phoenix before and it felt really smoothly using them in the crab beacons, but I've not tried the Revelation, so I want to give that a go next time. Apologies that it maybe was not the most insightful video. It's more like me exploring and discussing how I plan to tackle this area of the game. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.